Hi everyone, my name is Thibaut Gadiolet. I'm the Chief Data Officer for HomeServe's France. And Tristan is joining me.
Yes, hi everyone, I'm Tristan. I'm a CEO and co-founder of CastoDo. It's a data governance and self-serve analytics tool that we'll talk about, but most of the talk will be dedicated to HomeServe journeys through self-service analytics. Very nice to meet you all.
Yeah. So you may know HomeServe in UK. So I'm the Chief Data Officer, but for HomeServe France and Belgium. So if my English is a bit too broken, please feel free to tell me, and I'll try to do my best. So different country, but same mission. HomeServe is our mission is to help free our customers from the worry and inconvenience of home emergency repairs and installation. I won't dive into the numbers, they are quite self-explanatory, but what I wanted to highlight first is that HomeServe hasn't been digital from the start. We are not a tech business, and I think that for our topic, which is self-service BI adoption, dealing with different persona, such as non-tech business users, it's quite central in the approach you're going to choose. So on day-to-day, we collaborate with a network of skilled tradesmen, plumbers, electricians, and heating technicians. Our services involve dispatching professionals to our clients' location for repairs and installation. We have a call center where we deal with our clients' inquiries, and we send over millions of physical letters to our customers, and even by now most of our interactions with our clients are over the phone. So just to say, while we are working hard to go digital, our company's DNA is not deeply rooted in technology. And yet, to give you a bit of background, we started our journey with different data teams spread across the company: marketing, IT, finance, operations, small data teams. And we started to build our modern data stack back in 2020, 2021. I was then acting as a product manager for the new data platform. And back then in Lyon, in France, in 2020, it was really a new concept, and it was quite an adventure as well, but this is a story for another time. And 2 years ago, we made it. We now had our new modern data stack, and we decided to create a new data department. So there is always the debate, a centralized or decentralized data team. We made the choice of gather all our data experts into this new department. So I won't go into much details, but we are around 25 data experts, analysts, data engineer, analytics engineer, data scientists. And what was key as well was deploying and centralizing a data governance office. I'll come to that in a bit, but it is really key in the way we work today and in the way we deploy self-service to our end users. And this year, we really started to move towards a hub and spoke approach, as illustrated here. So sorry, I won't talk about data mesh. I'm not very trendy here, but it's what works for us. We actually kept our data department, still acting as a center of excellence, but with a main focus on empowering our business users with data, leading us towards our self-service initiative, which is our main topic today. But before that, a quick word about our data stack and our data products as well. Many data sources, 30 and maybe even more now, so same number of data pipelines. We have a lakehouse approach. You can see here the different stages of refinement of our data. Raw, refined, trusted, but you may know bronze, silver, and gold layers. This is the same thing, same principle. And if we jump to the different services we provide internally, but also to our tradesmen or our partners, we have first this new self-service BI initiative and our new concept of data box, and I explain that in a bit. But before that, and it's still the case, we have like classical corporate dashboards that are delivered by the data teams. And it will still be the case for those critical dashboards which needs to be validated by the data teams. This is a requirement for many domains. We also perform more advanced analysis, either directly working with the businesses or because we have a product analysts working within a product team. It's always delivered, such as a deep notebook, for instance, to formalize our insights. And the final one is providing an API for the data consumption layer. So that can be used for embedded analytics, for instance, or simply for consumption by other platforms such as Salesforce or Marketing Cloud or other platforms. So the key point here is that all these services rely on the same data underneath. The key message, and since we built our new data platform, that was always the mantra to have one single source of truth. And now, 4 years later, it really pays off as we can mutualize all our services on top of that. So, as you can see, our data platform was designed as being self-service itself. But today, we'll zoom in the self-service BI part. And maybe if we focus on that a little bit, nothing too fancy here. As I stated before, we are not a tech company from the start. So when it comes to what solution for what purpose, we always tend to have a buy-it approach. We try to minimize at most the custom developments. One of the downsides you can face when building a modern data stack is to have too many solutions. It can quickly add up and become very expensive, hard to maintain. So our choice was to limit the number of solutions the best we could. And for those who maybe are less familiar with the different tools here, our data engineers make good use of Airflow for building and orchestrating our data pipelines. We use actually Composer, which is the managed version of Airflow on Google Cloud Platform. And then the data is ingested into our lakehouse. So first on Google Cloud Storage, on GCP, and then in BigQuery, where our analytics engineers can use Dataform to transform and orchestrate SQL scripts. So for those who don't know, Dataform has been acquired by Google a few years ago. It's the equivalent of dbt. And then we made the choice of moving from Tableau to Power BI recently as our self-service platform for a couple of reasons. I'll explain more a bit later. And the last solution we recently added to our stack is CastoDo, mainly for managing and easily access all our metadata. It's also a good support for our data governance and self-service initiatives. So talking about self-service analytics, last year, as many of you, we came it as an obvious answer. The data team was in charge of building all the dashboards. We faced bottlenecks in our capacity to scale, to deliver what the business needed. And also, as a CDO, I wanted my teams to work less on building dashboards more on providing insights to our businesses. So, but for us, like the more data or tech savvy people, it did sound an obvious answer, but it's not necessarily the understanding of the business. They told us, okay, you used to provide all the dashboards for us. Now you ask us to do your job. Why is that? And so we knew that if we wanted to create adoption around our initiative, we really had to make it things easy, very clear for our business users. So the first learning, doing interview with during the discovery phase was SQL skills should not be a requirement. So core data models are built by data experts. We rely on a semantic layer on top of that, and we have a drag and drop interface, and that's the main reason we moved from Tableau to Power BI, because the learning curve was too steep, in our humble opinion, on Tableau. The second insight is we didn't over-invest into self-service. Self-service today is the default solution, so our data experts build their dashboards the same way our business do. So everyone contribute to extend the analytics that are available. And even when selling the initiative to the board or to our businesses, we just say that self-service is an opportunity, not an obligation. So our business users craft their own reports because they want to, because they can, not because they are told to do so, or because they don't have any other choice. So this is a thing that we closely monitor to ensure that we are really a self-service initiative. And the third insight comes from our own experience, but also from talking with other companies. Don't turn all the tabs at once. Try an iterative approach. So we've seen and we've been tempted ourselves to say, okay, we give you access to our gold layer, our data marts. We upload a data literacy and I don't know, data for dummies on our e-learning platform and be done with it. It might be even a good answer for some companies, but we did actually quite the opposite. We first tried to deploy self-service on a few data domains, working with early adopters. And what we've learned as mandatory for business users to be self-sufficient with a data domain is what we call a data box. So yeah, another word, but it's really internal. So we came up with this simple concept. Each release from our product team is a data box. So this is our self-service data product, if you want. The package we deliver periodically to our end users, always following the same pattern. And in a word, a data box for a data domain provides three things. The related data, obviously, the tooling needed to access and play with it, and all the support content to understand and make good use of the data. So for instance, a data box could be your client's data. You can have another one on your contracts and another one on your interaction with your clients. And the way they are designed is that if you want to play with more than one data box, you can easily, as a business user, link different data boxes together. So for instance, your client's interaction by type of contracts if you need to. And the way we organized ourselves to really scale this initiative was to divide our product team into three streams. One data academy stream, providing support content. So every week we train users, both on Power BI and CastoDo. At the end, the attendees are granted licenses and are ready to start exploring and building dashboards by themselves. But we quickly learned that it was not good enough. They had many questions. So of course they can rely on documentation, on short video we provide as well. So part of it is on CastoDo, but we also provide coaching session with them, office hours twice a week, where they can ask their question. We have data experts either on site or remotely that can hold their hands and help them building things by themselves. Our core data stream is to provide data modelization and the semantic layer on top of it. As I stated before, exposing our data marts as is was not good enough here. So this is built by data experts. And finally, the platform stream provides the tooling kit. So everything business users need to access our data. One thing we've learned as well is that for most of our users, if we just provide data, the adoption is low. So on each data box, we provide like a vanilla dashboard, instantiating the data to illustrate what you can do with the underlying data to facilitate. It does facilitate a lot the adoption. And then they can start from there, copy paste their dashboard, and start building by themselves. And eventually, I wanted to do two focuses. The first one for our choice of semantic layer. So a few things before that. As I said, we don't want to do a lot of custom developments. We want to limit our solutions. And we prefer to do more adopt and less adapt. So based on that, and this is not a solution that can fit all companies, but in our case, we really focus on this semantic layer to make it user-friendly for our business users, and also for preventing them of doing big mistakes, because this is a real risk in a self-service initiative. And just as a reminder, what I mean by semantic layer is all your fact and dimensions. Tables is where you store your metrics. It's where you build your relation between your tables. So you can have different solutions, and I'm sure there are plenty of vendors here. You may have heard of AtScale or Cube that offer universal semantic layer solution, independent of your BI tools. So they are great because you can rely on this layer for all your use cases, whether it's BI, your APIs, sourcing your machine learning models, do some caching. But instead, in our case, we choose to leverage the semantic layer already included in Power BI. So as I said, not requiring an additional tool, and a lot easier for our data analysts to exploit this semantic layer, especially for self-service. So the downside is that unlike what Looker has done with Looker ML, the semantic layer included in Power BI is really is not accessible from Google Cloud Platform, for instance, only on the Microsoft ecosystem. So therefore, we have some downsides, such as building our KPIs both on our data marts and in our semantic layers. And to limit the risk of inconsistency, we rely on CastoDo to share the same KPI definitions. The highlight here is it really depends on what is your stack and what is your organization around that. But this is a choice we've made, and hopefully it's a good one. And finally, before handing the mic over to Tristan, a quick focus on CastoDo. So as I said, it's the last solution we add to our stack. But it adds a lot of value. First of all, it provides many things to our data teams as a end-to-end data lineage at the column level, which makes the delivery and maintenance of our data boxes easier. And it's also increased trust when you can see by yourself exactly where the data comes from. And I mean by that directly from the business users. And The second part is, as we are still in a dual run phase, where we have both Tableau and Power BI dashboards, businesses can easily navigate. So when it comes to self-service, there is a Chrome extension when you can easily see in green here, okay, this dashboard has been validated by the data team, or it's not the case. So it's really the unique entry point for our business users to consume analytics. And finally, CastoDo, okay, retrieves all the metadata from our stacks automatically, but we have a community of data owners and data stewards, and they can enrich the knowledge base, the KPI definition, the business concepts, and make this information available for everyone. So the illustration is just the rollout of the new users of CastoDo in the past few months. And now I'll hand over to Tristan.
Thank you, Thibaut, for this very exciting and enrichful journey. We've been privileged and lucky enough to see you and work with you over the last 2 years now. Even when AI didn't exist at the time, we were there to help you with the documentation, the metadata augmentation, enrichment of your stack. I think your journey is really insightful to us as well, because that's where we're coming from. When we entered the market and when we started the company back 4 years ago, we were interested in metadata gathering and catalog for the end users, for making sure end users can be in full autonomy and fully trust what they have in front of them. So we weren't on the compliance security side of governance, we were really on the self-service analytics one. And so our goal has always been to build the entire context layer, knowledge base of, okay, where things are coming from, how are they supposed to look, what do they mean, and for which use cases are they supposed to exist. And so building with you the data marts, the semantic model, and helping you on that rollout was really insightful, because all of the documentation that you've built help us to build that strong knowledge base that now we can share as well as part of your training that you're doing. So whenever there's a dashboard, there's also the documentation that goes with it on how you're supposed to use it. And everything that you're building, you're avoiding one of the biggest traps of self-service analytics, which is opening up the access and a few months after getting all the requests from the business users about, okay, this is different from that, I don't know how to use that. And so taking the time and really ensuring you have the proper documentation and training since the beginning made us realize and fully get the value out of this initiative. And now with the recent development, obviously I need to talk about AI, because this has been pushing those initiatives even a step further. We all are scratching the surface of, okay, now we can talk to data, and the training required to look at the data and get up to date and start working with data is becoming more and more natural for end users. On our side with CastoDo, the idea is to, again, take all this knowledge, all this metadata, this lineage, everything that the data team, the experts are doing as the source of truth and the source of inspiration for what the end users are going to be able to do. So the catalog remains a really strong part of our product, but now we have this assistant, agent, however we want to call it, this conversational experience on top of it that leverages everything that has been done for the last few years that you've been building on both your BigQuery instance, your Power BI, and the documentation of the KPIs you've inputted in the catalog to provide the right answer directly. Instead of pinging the data team, now you can ping the catalog, not knowing it's a catalog, but knowing that it's aware and it's knowledgeable on the entire stack. So really this governance initiative, for the sake of self-service, is going even a step further with our latest development that is taking this context and this knowledge base as the source of the answer that we're going to provide to the end users. So whenever there's a question in natural language about what a KPI means, where it's coming from, how we can use this dashboard for another reason, or get back to the original data to make sure it matches the source system, well, the answer is in the catalog. But now it's also available through our conversational agent, whether it's in the Chrome extension, directly on the dashboard, or on the communication tool to actually replace the support job that you're providing to all the self-service users. So we're really proud and happy to be with your team. And for those of you who are interested, we are on booth 558, which is just around the corner. So some advertisement on CastoDo. I'll give you back the mic to wrap this up.
Thank you very much, Tristan, and a perfect transition, even if we didn't prepare. So the last slide was just a quick conclusion to wrap it up. On one side, the next step for us is keep on working with this product-oriented approach. So for our self-service initiative, our North Star metric, for those who are familiar with that, is our weekly active users. So our goal is to have like 10 more weekly active users each month by the end of the year. And to do that, we can rely on both our core data streams to extend our data box coverage and reach 50% of all our data in HomeServe France and Belgium. And our data academy to keep training new users, keep working on our change management and improve it to facilitate the adoption. And maybe just to open it up to what would be our dream, and I think this is not so far now, what we call true self-service, and I think we are laying the foundation for that now. And as the owner of the data strategy, I'm convinced that this is the best lead we can follow. It's both invest in our semantic layer and in our knowledge base, which with our business context and KPI definition. Why is that? Because maybe some vendors won't agree with me, but I think that Gen AI and LLMs models still face short as providing this true self-service experience. You have part of the answer, you don't have the extra miles, it's often not perfect. You have hallucination, sometimes even some wrong answers. So yeah, we can see on the good side that efforts we made today on our knowledge base, on our semantic layer, as you stated, Tristan, will lay the foundation for a true self-service experience. And I hope helping AI to reach the 100% accuracy we are looking for, giving answers to our business users. And that will be all. Thank you very much.